We're here today with the Housing Partnership of Chester County. They're going to tell us a little bit about a program that they have to help first-time home buyers get into a home.
Right. Well, I'm Sherry Howells with the Housing Partnership of Chester County. I'm a housing counselor, which means I work with first-time home buyers and educate them on how to buy a home. We offer up to $5,000 down payment closing cost assistance. It's a 0% interest deferred loan. You would need to go to our website at housingpartnershipcc.com and pull the application from our website, submit it to our office. It would be processed. We would call you in for an appointment face-to-face, which would be about a 2-hour appointment. We would sit down and look at your income, your savings, and your credit history, and we would also review your budget. That's part of the education piece. The other part of the education piece is that we offer an all-day group counseling class that we teach once a month at the Chester County Library. Now, the next class will be offered on Saturday, March the 10th. In order to attend, you need to have the application in to reserve your seat. You just can't come and arrive. And the things that we teach in the class are really the A to Z's on how to buy a home. We talk about looking at your income, your savings, your credit, becoming pre-approved with a lender, looking at loan estimates, closing disclosures, days of settlements, what to look for in a realtor, questions to ask, looking at the consumer notice, other documents that are important. We also talk about anti-predatory lending, what that means and how that impacts a first-time home buyer. So once the classes are complete, there will be a certificate. Now the application we're going to look at is the 3 factors once again is the income. There's an income limitation to participate to receive the $5,000. Now if your income was over the limits that are set by HUD, we can still work with you and educate you so that you have that. If you've never bought a house before, it's a good idea to sit down and have some education on the piece. So the information that we look at income-wise, we'll be looking at things such as tax returns, 2 years of federal tax returns, 2 years W-2s, a month of pay stubs, 3 months of bank statements. We'll also be reviewing your credit report as well. And some things so important with that is that when it comes to credit, we're looking for a 640 credit score. Nothing past due, nothing in collections. So if you do have those problems, it would be our job to work with you and offer credit and budget counseling. So the credit score, once again, that we need is a 640 or higher. As far as savings goes, we need a minimum of $1,000 of your own money into the deal. Okay, and at the end, when the day of settlement ends, we need to have 2 months of mortgage payments in reserves sitting in your bank account. That's your money. You can have gifts, but you have to, at the very least, prove that you have a minimum of $1,000 of your own money into the deal, plus those 2 months reserves. So for instance, if the mortgage payment ended up being $1,200 a month, you would need $2,400 in the bank account in order for us to go forward to settlement. Without that money there, a housing counselor is not giving you any breaks, because when you move into the house, that's when a lot of the expenses become very great. There's a lot of move-in fees, transitions, repairs, and things that you want to have, such as furniture, new television sets, appliances. That's the fun stuff. But you also have to have enough money for the repairs that come along with homeownership. So that, in a nutshell, is what we offer.
So how long is the class that I have to take if I'm interested in this program?
Okay, the class runs from 9:30 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. And it sounds long, but there's so much that's taught and so much that's learned that people really appreciate when they walk away. They're very happy they did it.
So this class is going to teach someone the do's and don'ts and give them all the information that they're going to need to feel secure about buying their home.
Definitely, it's going to be certainly a lot of information to put them in the right direction and to continue to educate them, to encourage them to educate themselves on the process, because really you can never stop learning enough about homeownership.
Absolutely. And is it also true that they get an independent session with
Yes.
the counselor?
Correct. And they can do it anywhere. They can come to the class first, or they can meet with us face-to-face. But the face-to-face appointment will be a minimum of 2 hours where we talk personally about your income, your savings, and your credit. We identify things that need to be addressed, things that need to be fixed, and things that are being done right. If everything is in good order, then we go forward and say, let's become pre-approved and see what we can qualify for.
So when someone qualifies for the program, that money does get reserved for them to purchase a house? Is that done? That's done with their counselor?
That money will be reserved when an agreement of sale goes in. That money will be billed and set aside so that it's there on the day of settlement. And I will also be required to attend settlement with them to review the documents that the housing partnership has for you to sign off on.
I see. So during that 2-hour period that you're sitting down with that person, you're going over the credit, the information to make sure that they can get pre-qualified by a lender.
Correct.
That's the point of that 2-hour.
Absolutely. There's a lot to discuss, a lot of unknowns that people never thought about before, like looking at savings. If you have a lot of deposits going into your bank account, the bank's going to want to know what's the source of all those funds. So if you're just used to having some money on the side, and then you put the money in the account, or you happen to keep a lot of money tucked away around the house, and all of a sudden you put a large deposit in, you can't prove where that comes from. And that slows down the approval process. You have to be able to source all funds. So we also want to get you on a regular basis of savings, since savings is a source of credit. That's what the lender wants to see. So we want you to know what's expected of you so you can qualify rather quickly.
Is it helpful if I come to that meeting with a family budget, or I'm able to show something that demonstrates how I appropriate my
Absolutely.
funds?
Budgets are very important. And we have a 4-page budget document that when we set up the appointment, we're going to email to you that you're going to complete and bring into the appointment. And then we're going to go over it together in detail and see if you have a plus at the end or a minus, and see which ways we need to adjust. It's like putting a mirror in front of your face to say, I wasn't aware that this much money was going out for eating out or a cup of coffee. So other things, maybe too much money is going out in video games. That's very popular now, or Apple iTunes. Maybe we cut back on some of those things and put it towards an emergency fund. Now we're talking from being approved with a mortgage versus not having any money in the account.
Nice. So going back to the class,
Yes.
you were talking about reviewing some stuff on predatory lending.
Yes.
That's a very important component of the class that you need a certificate for to meet a HUD requirement.
There's another program that's being offered right now called First Front Door. First Front Door is offered through different lenders who are members of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Pittsburgh. So they have your local banks, many of them will be done. You can find that very easily on the website. Certainly I speak to a housing counselor about who that would fit. That money is an additional $5,000 that's considered basically a deferred grant. If you stay in the home for 5 years, that money of $5,000 would be forgiven. Now, one of the requirements is that you have an anti-predatory class in addition to first-time homebuyer education. That is all covered in our class. So when you have a certificate for that, you're meeting their requirement as well and saving time.
If I understand correctly, you're saying you could actually potentially get $10,000 by going through both of these programs?
That is correct. They will be. They complement one another because the income limitations of the first-time homebuyer program with the housing partnership are the same as the First Front Door. So that money could be used together. They complement each other, not work against each other.
So if I have a requirement of down money and closing costs, then that money could be appropriated for my closing for the purchase of my house in the amount of $10,000 if I qualify for both of those programs.
Correct. The money that you are required, the housing partnership money can be used for down payment, closing costs, and or the combination of both. And First Front Door works the same way. However, First Front Door does require that you have, if you want the full $5,000, you do have to prove that you have at least $1,667 into the deal, since they consider it a 3-to-1 match. For every dollar you put in, they match it 3. So therefore, your portion is $1,667. So by the time you go for place an offer on a house and put a deposit on the home, good faith estimate, good faith deposit, and you have inspections done, it's very easy to be at $1,667 and meet that requirement.
Can that money be appropriated to pay a contractor for repair to be done on the home?
No, it cannot. It has to be used for the real estate itself.
Okay.
However, there is a program that our office does offer, the rehabilitation program, if your name is on the deed. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're just already a homeowner, we can do repairs on a home that are code violations. We call it our rehabilitation program. It's not remodeling. And if it needed a new heater, roof, structure, electric, plumbing, that sometimes we can take the first-time home buyers, once they get a settlement, they can go immediately into that program where our contractors can make those repairs, and make it very habitable and much more safer for them at a much lower cost. It would be a 0% interest loan that would be repaid monthly. It's on a case-by-case basis. We would have to review all inspections.
It sounds like a great program.
It's a way to stretch the dollar a little bit further and make you more reassured that that house will work for you.
So if someone out there is looking to buy a home and perhaps get out of a rental property that they're in right now, how could they get a hold of you?
Very simply, one of two ways. They can either call me, 610-518-1522 on the phone and speak to our office. They can also go to our website, housingpartnershipcc.com, pull the application under the first-time homebuyer tab, submit it to us either by mail, or they may drop it off to our locked mailbox in the front of our building. We're in the borough of Downingtown.
Very good. And your application, there are specific documents that they do need to send in?
There's a complete checklist of what we need to see. That would be the 2 years federal tax returns, just the federal, not the state or the local, the 2 years W-2s. We would need to have 3 months bank statements, a month of pay stubs, or ID, government issued ID, such as a driver's license, social security card, and then we would look at anything like if you have child support documents and that type of thing through the courts, that would be also considered as well. We would review credit. We will be pulling the credit, or if you have a recent credit report, we will accept that. It has to be from all 3 credit bureaus with a FICO score. And that's what we'll do instead, but it has to be rather recent. It cannot be old.
Excellent. Thank you very much for coming out and participating and doing some stuff here for the community to help people get out of rentals and get into homes.
Happy to do so. So at some point, Vince, if we wanted to, we could have a first-time home buyer night, maybe talk to people more face-to-face.
Yes, excellent.
I think we should need to do that. So if anyone's interested with the video, I think they should reach out to us and let us know that so we can put something together for them.
Yes,